For the first time in over a decade, the Columbus State University men's basketball program is off to a 4-0 start in Peach Belt Conference play. Tonight, inside the Frank G. Lumpkin Center, they'll put that perfect record on the line as they welcome Georgia Southwestern to town for the first of two meetings between the two programs. Good evening and welcome inside Herbert Green Court and the Frank G. Lumpkin Center in Columbus, Georgia. Stephen Williams here with you courtside as we get set for the opening tip of tonight's second half of our doubleheader between Columbus State and Georgia Southwestern. Robert Moore's Cougars 10-1 on the season, a perfect 4-0 record in Peach Belt Conference play, the first time in over a decade that they've run off 4 straight victories to open up the conference schedule. They'll try to make it 5 tonight, and the head coach of the Cougars stopped by with us prior to tonight's tip-off. Let's hear from head coach Robert Moore.
Cougar head coach Robert Moore with us. We get set for Georgia Southwestern, the first home game of 2016. Coach, been away, had a good New Year though?
Oh yeah, Happy New Year to everyone out there in Cougar Land. Thought our guys did a great job the last 2 games after New Year, so ready for a home game.
How big was it to get off to a start like that, to go on the road and win in a couple of tough environments?
We've been emphasizing that all year, that any kind of way that you can go down to Francis Marion Armstrong and get a win on the road, it's big for your program, and I thought all the guys did a great job of playing together and, pulling the victory out.
It's a 4-0 start to conference already. It's something that this program hasn't done in over 10 years. How big is it to kind of get off to that kind of start, knowing the grind that this is over 19 games?
You got to have success early because you don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball and try to get some victories late in the season. Our main focus right now is try to get better defensively and offensively so we can make a run during the season, especially late in January and February. You're going to need those wins. So getting those 2 road wins was big for us, but now we got to come home and take care of home court.
You come out of a long Christmas holiday break and you think maybe there's a little rust. There wasn't any rust on Cam Baker on Saturday when we went to Francis Marion. You go up there, he puts on just quite the show in that first half. He gets 23 points in the first 20 minutes. How big has he been, and what was that day like?
Cam knows he's the guy for our team. He has the key to the team, and he did a great job of just getting everybody involved. And once Francis Marion gave him some open looks, he was just able to knock them down. And he just had a great game where he was just making shot after shot after shot, and I thought that was good for our confidence. And now Cam got some confidence going into more Peach Belt games.
Cam had a couple of big ball games on the road. Also, Brentine Taylor really asserting himself as a dominant force underneath. How big has that been to have someone to go to down low now?
I've been very impressed with all 3 of our big guys, including Brentine. I thought Brentine had a great game the other night just because he went after the basketball, and he knows he's that tough guy in the paint for us. He got to do his job. And, Stephen, that's what I love about this team. Everybody knows their role and know what you got to do every night for us to be successful. And I thought Brentine and also Brent Jackson hitting some big shots against Armstrong really helped us to win those games.
You look at what this team has done. 6 different players have led it in scoring. You've got options to go to off the bench. How nice has that been, and how much of a luxury has it been that every single night it could be a different player?
I like that a whole lot because if a guy having a bad night, like Ja'Cory Payne, really didn't play well the last 2 games, but other guys stepped up in his place. So I really like that as a coach, knowing that I got somebody down on the bench that can come in and give us points, rebounds, whatever we need. And to Ja'Cory credit, I thought he played great defense the entire weekend. He just didn't hit any shots. So we're looking for that every night, just another guy stepping up, and I've been really impressed with those post guys, like I say.
You basically started from scratch with this group. Brent Jackson comes back, a couple other guys on the bench, but not a whole lot of depth, anything, mostly new guys. How has this group been able to get together so quickly and put together a start like this one?
I think really buying into the program, understanding what we want defensively and offensively, and I thought they did a great job of that. Guys coming in, playing the amoeba defense that we like to play, the 1-1-3, and just going at it every day and having some confidence and having the correct slides and doing the right thing every time. I think when you have a group like that that pays attention to the coaching staff, scouting reports and things like that, I think you can go a long way. And those guys have athletic ability and basketball ability. So if you just believe in each other and believe in the coaching staff, I think good things can happen.
Georgia Southwestern, the opponent that comes in here tonight, they're kind of like us. They come back with 1 player from last year's team, so it's a brand-new group, but a group that had a whole lot of talent coming in.
Oh, yeah, got a lot of talent. I just don't think they've been playing their best basketball, and hopefully tonight we can contain them. But they're a scary team because they have so many guys on the floor that can score. We just got to really play tough defense and take every possession for what it is. So we can't just have wasted possession with turnovers here and there. So if I think our guys come out and concentrate and do the things we need to do, we'll be fine.
Yeah, you look at the record, it's not a great record overall. They've kind of been hit or miss. They beat a good Augusta team, but they also have some puzzling losses. How difficult is it to kind of hone in on the fact that this is a really good team despite what that record says?
And that's something that me and Coach Hicks, both Coach Little, we just try to tell our guys, this team is good. The record just don't speak for it. So we watched a lot of film on them, watched a lot of individual film on each player just to show our guys this is a talented team that just hadn't been playing very well. So hopefully our guys got it in their mind that, hey, we got to come out and play tough basketball if we want to get a win.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to it. Best of luck tonight.
Right. Thanks, Steve.
Columbus State and Georgia Southwestern getting set to meet for the 36th time all-time between two programs. It's been a very tight series, but Southwestern has won 4 of the last 5. These two split the 2 meetings a year ago, and they'll meet for the first of 2 times this season tonight here on Herbert Green Court inside the Frank G. Lumpkin Center. We're getting set to send things across the way. Our public address announcer, Brian Solito, will give you your starting lineups, and we will have your tip-off here from the Lumpkin Center in Columbus, Georgia. It's Columbus State and Georgia Southwestern on Cougar Sports TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Columbus State University and the Frank G. Lumpkin Center here at Herbert Green Court for tonight's Peach Belt men's basketball matchup featuring the Hurricanes of Georgia Southwestern University, who come into today's contest with an overall record of 5 wins and 6 losses. The Hurricanes are 1-3 in conference play. And your 18th ranked Columbus State University Cougars, 10-1 overall, 4-0 in the Peach Belt. Let's introduce tonight's starting lineups. First for the visiting Hurricanes of Georgia Southwestern. At 1 forward, 6'6", graduate from Melbourne, Australia, number 3, Adam Thosby. At forward, 6'9", a sophomore from Queensland, Australia, number 11, Kate Towers. Also at the forward position, 6'8", a senior from Zagreb, Croatia, number 15, Yuri Ganjina. And now the guards, a 5'9" junior from Radcliffe, Kentucky, number 2, Brandon Price. And a 6'4" senior from Greenville, South Carolina, number 32, Damian Leonard. The head coach of the Hurricanes is Mike Leader, assisted by Sean Sweeney. And now, let's meet and greet the Cougar starters. First and forward, 6'5", a senior from Cochran, Georgia, number 12, Ricky Taylor. And now the guards, a 6'5" senior from Phoenix City, Alabama, number 2, Darren Daniel. A 5'9" sophomore from Dublin, Georgia, number 1, Jim Corey Page. A 6'3" senior from Fountain, Colorado, number 20, Brent Jackson. And a 6'1" senior from right here in the CSG, number 3, Cam Baker. The head coach of the Cougars is Robert Moore, assisted by Ben Hicks, Carl Little, and Shelly Heaton.
Georgia Southwestern and Columbus State set to square off here on the Herbert Green Court inside the Lumpkin Center. It'll be Brandon Price, Adam Thosby, Cade Towers, Damian Leonard, and Yuri Gunjina in Navy for Georgia Southwestern. For the Cougars, it'll be Ja'Cory Payne, Cam Baker, and Darren Daniel, along with Brent Jackson, and then Brentine Taylor in the middle, the man who has been rolling along for the Cougars here of late. Cougars will be in their home white head to toe. The red shoes, it's the Navy numerals and lettering with the red trim. It'll be Brentine Taylor to jump things up against Cade Towers as the Cougars will be working right to left as you're looking at it. Tip-off time here at Herbert Green Court, and the tap controlled by Darren Daniel and CSU. Cam Baker got off to a blistering start on Saturday at Francis Marion. He tries right off the bat here. The three-pointer doesn't go down. He had 23 and half number one on Saturday at Francis Marion and was trying to channel Saturday's game on the opening possession. Cougars, 18th ranked in the country. This group off to a 10-1 start, trying to make it 11-1 as Georgia Southwestern turns it over. Ja'Cory Payne, coast to coast, with the lay-in. It was Brandon Price that slipped and fell, lost his dribble, and Ja'Cory Payne, the beneficiary on the other end. Georgia Southwestern, much like CSU, did not return much from last season. Mike Leader, one player from last year's roster back for this year, as that three-pointer is fired in by the southpaw, Yuri Gungina, who averages 12.5 points per game. Baker, the step back, falls, basket good. It could be a high-flying, a high-scoring action tonight here in the Lumpkin Center. Just one player, though, returning for this Georgia Southwestern team who has 8 transfers that played Division I basketball. There is one of them right there, Damian Leonard. He is the only returner. He spent a couple of seasons playing over in Columbia, South Carolina in the SEC for South Carolina as Brent Jackson answers. And if the first 95 seconds are any indication of what this one's going to be like, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be fun tonight. Price cut off on his way to the rim, back for Leonard. Dropping it off. Kick to the corner. They get it back to Price. Price for Gungina, who can't get the shot off. Instead, it's a clean look for Adam Thosby. His three doesn't go down, and Ja'Cory Payne grabs the rebound. A heat check for Brent Jackson from the left wing. A little bit short and falls off to the backside. Thosby runs the floor. Nobody got back defensively. And Adam Thosby, the forward out of Australia, slams it home. 8-7, Georgia Southwestern edges back out in front. CSU's only blemish on the year was a 5-point loss, a neutral site against Lane College as Brent Jackson collided into up in the air, and he's going to earn free throws. Since that loss, Columbus State has run off 4 consecutive victories, all of them in conference play, 3 of them by double figures. CSU had its closest contest of the season on Monday night at Armstrong State, where they were able to edge out a 78-75 victory over the Pirates. It was one where Robert Moore got back from the long road trip and said he was actually glad to see a game get close because it forced his team to respond and play with the game a little bit tighter. He said they didn't respond well to it early when the game was tight because CSU has been blowing out opponents here of late. You look at what the Cougars have done in the conference schedule as Thosby goes right to the rim and lays it in again. CSU owns a 13-point victory over UNC Pembroke that really was not that close. It only got that close late with the reserves in. They own a 25-point victory over USC Aiken and a 12-point win at Francis Marion on Saturday. So they have not played a ton of close games in conference play. Brent Jackson with the lay-in there gives him an early 6. Georgia Southwestern just 5-6 on the season as that one was last touched by CSU. They're 1-3 in conference play, but a tough team to figure out because they have a good victory on the season. They beat Augusta in the opening game of conference play there in Americus, beat them 68-64. Since then, though, they've lost 3 consecutive conference games, as this one's going to go all the way to the backcourt for Thosby. It's been a really hit-or-miss bunch for Mike Leader here in his 10th season in Americas, as Gungina can't get it, and it's Baker high for the board. But that's what happens when you have so many newcomers. It's one of the dangers as Baker goes off glass and one. Both of these coaches are coaching almost entirely new rosters, and they're getting different results. Robert Moore's bunch has gelled well together and is off to a 10-1 start. Mike Leader's group has had a bit of a rougher go of things. Has not played all that well and been inconsistent, and that's what a 5-6 record will show. Baker completes the three-point play, gives himself 5, and the backcourt combo of Baker and Jackson living up to what you expect out of them. They average 35 points a game between them. They have 11 of the first 13. That foul was on Brandon Price. To the rack, Leonard can't get the shot to go. Rebound snatched out by the three-point line by Payne. He leads the break the other way, decides to do it himself, and the finger roll rolled off, and a foul will go against Brent Jackson, trying to tie up Terrence Johnson. Jacory trying to be aggressive and go to the rack by himself. May have been better served to toss it off. 4 minutes into the contest, 13-10, Columbus State in front by 3. Hurricanes trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. They've lost consecutive games to Lander, at Montevallo, and at Georgia College as Gungina got the lay-in. But it's a roster loaded with Division I transfers. 8 of their regular rotation players played Division I basketball along the line of their collegiate career, as Jackson can't get the shot to the rim, but he is fouled, and he's going to have 2 shots coming up after the break. 15-29 and a timeout on the floor. 13-12 CSU, a 1-point lead over Georgia Southwestern here on Cougar Sports TV. Stephen Williams back here with you on Cougar Sports TV. It's a 13-12 Columbus State lead. Brent Jackson to the line for 2 after the timeout. Picking up where we left off on that Division I thread, you look down this roster for Georgia Southwestern. Brandon Price played 2 seasons at Western Kentucky. Adam Thosby spent a year at Utah State and 2 at the University of South Dakota. Karan Wright, you look at what he did. He spent 2 years, and he's on the floor now and with the basketball as Jackson makes them both. Wright played 2 years at South Carolina State. Yuri Gungina spent a season at Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. Chandler Thomas was at Ohio University last year, also at Grambling State. Terrence Johnson went to South Alabama. Damian Leonard, we said already, went to South Carolina. So a lot of Division I talent on this roster. Mike Leader's trying to mold this group, though, into a competitive bunch that can win nights, night in and night out in the Peach Belt Conference. There was an offensive foul away from the ball on Damian Leonard, and that's a big one because that's his second. 11.2 points per game for Leonard, and he has to go to the bench with 2 fouls here in the first half. Jacory Payne, the kick out. Arbin Kamaj, who just checked in for CSU, can't get the long jumper to go. DeMarcus McVeigh also into the game for CSU. Part of that trio of post players with Kamaj and Brentine Taylor that Robert Moore praised in the pregame interview. This is Thosby. They're going to say the reason he lost the ball on the way to the rim was they had his arm. DeMarcus McVeigh picks up his first foul. Price will come back for Georgia Southwestern. Cade Towers will sit down as Georgia Southwestern will go a bit smaller. Price listed at 5'9". Karan Wright listed at 6 foot. I'm not sure either one of those is correct. They're both on the floor right now. Gungina comes to right, left wing. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Gungina, a straight-on look at three. And Yuri Gungina averaging 12.5 points per game. The team's leader already has 8. Baker will try to answer. Rattles around off the glass and goes. Cam Baker matching Gungina point for point at the moment. That's 8 for Baker, 8 for Jackson. 16 of the 18 for CSU by the backcourt. Ja'Cory Payne has the other 2. Price penetrates into the lane, looking for somewhere to kick, got caught in the air and threw it away. Jackson to Ja'Cory Payne. He'll try his hand at the 3, and that one's buried. And that's what makes this CSU team so dangerous, as Mike Leader is going to take a timeout. Everyone is a shooting threat on the floor for CSU, and it can happen so fast. 21-15, Columbus State back in front. Gungina tied it with a 3, and then it's back-to-back bombs from Baker and Payne that puts CSU right back in front and forced the timeout. (21-15) the score. Mike Leader trying to stop the bleeding there of about a 20-second stretch in which CSU buried a couple of threes to break a 15-all tie. 13:30 to play in the first half. Maddie Seeger-Darson into the game for the first time for CSU, replacing Ja'Cory Payne. Leonard back on the floor with 2 fouls for Georgia Southwestern as Karan Wright knocks down the short jumper. First bucket of the game for Wright. Baker to Kamaj. He has outside range. A little strong that time as the rebound saved inbounds by Thosby. Off to Price, and he'll push it the other way. Good hustle by Brent Jackson. Nearly stole it away, and instead it's a hustle foul, and he's not happy about it. But the foul on Jackson's going to be his second, and he's going to have to come out at the 12:57 mark. Jackson frustrated, just trying to make a hustle play, and instead picks up his second foul. 21-17, high-flying, fast-paced first 7 minutes. Leonard already with 1 3, doesn't have a second, and McVeigh commands that rebound. DeMarcus averaging 6.3 a night, second on the team in that category. Seeger-Darson out there with Baker, so looks like Cam will slide over to the shooting guard slot now. Maddie more of a traditional point guard. Kamaj posting up on a smaller player. The turnaround, though, hit off the back rim. Thosby caught in the air, finds Leonard. Leonard from 15, in and out. Darren Daniel backside rebound. Daniel goes to the wing for Seeger-Darson. Bad pass, turned over, looking for Baker. Price stepped in. He's going to go 1-on-2, and the teardrop off the glass over. Darren Daniel goes for Brandon Price. Baker right at Price, uses the body and Cam Baker into double figures. (23-19), Mike Leader directing traffic from a crouch over on the CSU or on the Georgia Southwestern bench. 9 minutes gone by. Good looking feed that time. Price to Terrence Johnson, who pays it off. Good look that time. Price went baseline, and the bounce pass fell in perfectly. Baker, a wild scoop shot. McVeigh grabs the rebound. Seeger-Darson right side. A little strong. Thosby the rebound, and he'll run the other way. Numbers for the Hurricanes, and we are tied at 23 as Damian Leonard goes up and under to tie it at 23. It's going to be a battle from start to finish. As Robert Moore said, don't let that 5-6 record fool you. Seeger-Darson clobbered, no call. Baker winds up with it, and he'll put CSU back in front. Cam having another great first half, already 12 for the senior from right here in Columbus. Immediate timeout coming at the next whistle. 5 players set to check in between the two sides at that time. Midway point of the first half. 10 minutes gone by. Kick out right, left-handed three. Halfway down, bounces out. McVeigh skies for it. Baker off a screen. You better hedge high because he will shoot coming off that screen more times than not. Seeger-Darson penetrates, kicks. Baseline jumper for McVeigh off the mark. And Kamaj is called for the foul, and that will take us to the media timeout. First foul on Arbin. It's the 4th of the game against CSU, and we've got a timeout on the floor. 25-23, CSU in front, 9:35 to go here in the Lumpkin Center. .9:35 to play in the first half. Only 3 Cougars have scored in the game, but they've scored at a high enough volume that it hasn't affected anything. CSU with a 2-point lead. Baker, Jackson, and Ja'Cory Payne have combined for all 25 points, but they still lead 25-23. Jackson sitting on the bench with 2 fouls right now. Wide open look for Price. They give it to him, and he puts it in the bank. Price puts Georgia Southwestern in front, 26-25. On pace for nearly 100 points for both sides. Both sides blistering hot from the field. Darren Daniel gets the friendly roll. And these two teams continue to trade haymakers back and forth on the offensive end. 65% from the field for Georgia Southwestern. 56% for CSU as that 3 for Gungina fell off. Ja'Cory Payne driving, and he's cut off and fouled by Devin Watson, who just checked in. It's Price, Thosby, Cade Towers, Gungina, and Wright on the floor, or rather Watson for Georgia Southwestern. Payne, Baker, Daniel, Taylor, and McVeigh for CSU. 8:30 on the clock here in the first half. Brentine Taylor, they invite him to shoot it. He obliges from 17 feet and clangs it off the front. Skinny 2-point margin for the Cougars. Price just made one, passes up this time. Gungina under the rim, kicks out. Thosby from downtown falls off. Taylor keeps the pivot foot, stays on the floor. Baker underneath, good look for McVeigh, and DeMarcus able to lay it in. Cam Baker, who leads this team with 52 assists on the season, averaging nearly 5 per game, picks up his first of the night. And now an offensive foul coming up as they try to screen for Gungina in the corner. Devin Watson called for the foul, and that's going to be his second. 7:46 to go, and we have a timeout on the floor. 30-26, CSU out to a 4-point lead late here in the first half. Cougars at 55% from the field, 50 from the three-point line. And they'll have the basketball up 4. Columbus State's largest lead of the game is 6. That came at 21-15. That was right when Mike Leader took a timeout after CSU buried back-to-back threes. They lead by 4 now on a 5-0 run after Georgia Southwestern took a 1-point lead, and Darren Daniel can't handle that pass from Ja'Cory Payne. It squirts out of his hands, and the Canes will get it back. Georgia Southwestern at 58% from the field, 44% from 3. That was just the second turnover of the game by CSU. It's been a rather cleanly played first 13 minutes. (10-1) is Columbus State, working on 4 consecutive victories, trying to continue to stay perfect in PBC play. Gungina can't get a shot off before the shot clock goes off, and that'll draw a round of applause from head coach Robert Moore. Good defensive possession all the way around that time for CSU. They get the 5th turnover of the game for the Hurricanes and get the basketball back. McVeigh up top, off to Ja'Cory Payne, who has 5 points. Payne up over the tall towers, the fadeaway goes. Robert Moore talked in pregame about how Ja'Cory struggled a little bit in the last 2 games they had to start 2016, but other guys had stepped up, and he said that Ja'Cory may get things going, and he is doing that in an emphatic way right now as Payne crashes to the deck after Darren Daniel made a whale of a play to keep that basketball in bounds. Daniel got the steal, the behind-the-back save, and started the fast break that'll send Ja'Cory Payne to the line for 2. Foul was on Wright, his first, and that's 7 now against the Hurricanes. Ja'Cory, the 5'9" sophomore out of Dublin, Georgia, really struggled last year to get acclimated to Peach Belt Conference play. This year, though, is a completely different player. Much more confidence, a whole lot better looking shooting stroke, and it's paid off as Ja'Cory averaging 10 points per game. He's one of 5 Cougars to average in double figures. Baker leads the team at 18 points per game. Jackson at 16.5 as DeMarcus McVeigh swats that one from behind. 13 for Brentine Taylor and 10 for McVeigh to go with Payne's 10. Taylor going to work underneath. The shot up, good, and the foul. Brentine Taylor fighting through the contact and able to lay it in. The foul was on Towers. It's his first, and Brentine on the board for the first time. Brentine had some huge nights to start 2016. He had 14 points at Francis Marion and then went for 19 points and 9 rebounds, was nearly unstoppable at Armstrong on Monday night, and he pays off the three-point play. 37-26, very quickly, this has reached double figures. The Cougars on a 12-0 run as Thosby turns it over, and it's showtime. Baker with the slam, and Mike Leader needs a timeout. Baker throws it down, 39-26. CSU by 13, and a timeout on the floor. (14-0) Columbus State run as Cam Baker with the emphatic slam. Throws it down and brought the Lumpkin Center to a little bit of a life here with 5:23 to go in the first half. The run finally comes to a close as Adam Thosby rattles the shot home. CSU trailed 26-25 and then went on a 14-0 run and took the lead right back in a big way. Georgia Southwestern off the steal. The shot doesn't go by Thosby, but the tap is there for Gungina. So far, Mike Leader has pushed the right buttons with his timeouts. His team trailed 21-15 when he took the first timeout. They came back and ended up taking a 26-25 lead. He takes a timeout at 39-26, and they get 4 straight points very quickly. Shot clock down to 7. Daniel pump fakes, lets the defender fly by, but the shot didn't go. Gungina runs it down, and with 4:30, it's back inside single digits. Into the corner. Pump fake and a travel. Wright took a step before he put it on the floor, and CSU dodges that one to keep it from being even more of a Georgia Southwestern run. Arbin Kamaj back into the game for Brentine Taylor for CSU. Terrence Johnson back for Georgia Southwestern. Baker, Daniel, Payne, Kamaj, and McVeigh for CSU. Gungina, Thosby, Leonard, Johnson, and Price for Georgia Southwestern. CSU using a little clock here at the 4-minute mark. They're posting up Cam Baker. He'll fade away with it, doesn't go. And McVeigh got the rebound, tried to go back up, was tied up, and the arrow favors Georgia Southwestern. Robert Moore not pleased with that, saying that he had a hold of his arm. But the jump ball called, and Georgia Southwestern gets it back, trying to add to the 4 straight points they've put in. 39-30. Columbus State took a very tight game and made it a 13-point game with a quick 14-0 run. Good hands by McVeigh, poked away the pass from Thosby. And Mike Leader visibly frustrated on the other end. Big to big there. McVeigh to Kamaj, and Arbin lays it in. Such an unselfish bunch, this CSU group this year. And they have an 11-point lead again with 3:20 to go in the first half. Thosby over Kamaj and 1. Thosby now with 8. The foul by Kamaj is his second. And we've got our final media timeout of half number 1. 41-32, CSU's lead cut to 9, 3:16 to play in the first half. Both teams still shooting blistering percentages. Both of them right now at 58% from the field. There has not been a lot of missing going on. The difference in the contest at the moment is right here at the free throw line. These will be the first two free throws, rather the first free throw, as Thosby tries to complete the three-point play. This is the first one that Georgia Southwestern has taken in the game. CSU is 7 of 8 from the stripe. 8-point game as the Cougars trying to get it to the halftime break, comfortably in front. Payne from near NBA range rattles it home. Ja'Cory, after a rough weekend, a rough set of games on the road Saturday and Monday, having a great first half. That's 12 now for the sophomore, including his second from downtown. Back to 11. Gungina drives. Thosby. The Australian connection. Croatia to Australia there. And Thosby hits the three. He's in double figures now with 12. Thosby and Gungina keeping Georgia Southwestern in the game. Baker couldn't get the shot to go, and an over-the-back foul goes against DeMarcus McVeigh. That's going to be his second. So McVeigh, Kamaj, and Jackson all with 2 for CSU. That's the only 6 fouls that CSU has committed. That's 2 of the 3 bigs, though, for CSU, and they're going to leave McVeigh on the court. Brent Jackson has been sitting since the 12:57 mark. Thosby, same spot, has it again. Adam Thosby feeling it right now for Georgia Southwestern, who's back within 5. 6 straight for Thosby. That's 15 now. Baker cut off to Taylor, over the top, looking for McVeigh. Fall away, off the front rim. Thosby grabs the rebound, his third. Gungina tries to make it 3 in a row, and it goes, and very quickly. This lead got knocked all the way down to 2. Thosby with 2 from downtown. Gungina has his third, and it's a timeout CSU. .138 to go here in the first half. And the Cougars have seen their 13-point lead trimmed down to just 2. It was a 3-point play by Thosby, and then a pair of threes for the graduate student. And then Gungina hit a 3 of his own. Lead knocked all the way down to just 2 with 1:38 to go in this first half. So CSU was hoping to go into the locker room with a comfortable lead, and now it's questionable on if they're even going to have a lead. A slim 2-point margin now as the team's shooting continues to be stellar. Daniel looked like he went up for a shot and instead tried to pass to Taylor, who wasn't looking for it. Leonard for the lead from the left corner. Off the rim, the tap goes through. The tap went through for Johnson. Actually, rather, the credit went to Gungina. He gets the basket and ties the game up. Cam Baker, though, gives CSU the lead back on the other end. Thosby driving to the rack, cut off, but a foul's going to be called. It's going to be on Brentine Taylor. It'll be his first, but that's 7 on CSU, and that's going to put Georgia Southwestern in the bonus. So Thosby to the line. He already has 15 points on the night, now 16. His season high is 23 against Lander. Here's a guy that's played internationally for England and Great Britain growing up. Spent some time at Division I Utah State and South Dakota. And now at Georgia Southwestern as a graduate student transfer. 1 point CSU lead as Thosby split the pair. CSU can hold until about 5 seconds on the clock. That's when the shot clock would run out. Baker looking to do just that. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Working on right. The crossover. Drives into the lane to the rack. Scoop. Good and one. Baker dribbled out about 20 seconds of clock. Gets the basket and draws the foul. It'll go against Gungina. It's his first. And Baker already with 16. Actually, rather 18 for Baker. We'll try to add to it. He's the game leader, but not by much. Already 4 double-digit scores, 2 on each side. 9.6 seconds left for Georgia Southwestern as Baker has 19 now. CSU pressuring in the backcourt. They get it to Wright. 5 seconds to go. Wright has it poked away. Baker's going to get it back, and then he throws it away. CSU had a chance for a last-second basket, and Baker a little bit unselfish, trying to get to Daniel. Threw it out of bounds with 0.9 seconds to go. It's going to be time for one heave here for Georgia Southwestern to wrap this up. 49-45 the score. As Gungina gets it to Thosby, he'll heave from beyond midcourt. It doesn't go. And at the end of one half of play, offensive first half as both teams shoot near 60%, 49-45, CSU in front at the break. 19 points for Cam Baker, he's the game leader. 16 on the opposite side for Adam Thosby. We take it to the locker room at halftime, and we'll take the break with them. 49-45, Columbus State up by 49-45. If you're just hopping in with us now, you missed quite the entertaining 20 minutes of basketball in half number one here inside the Lumpkin Center. Stephen Williams back here with you on Cougar Sports TV. The two sides shot 58% and 60% in half number one. CSU 18 of 31, Georgia Southwestern 18 of 30. The Hurricanes were 7 of 14 from the three-point line. CSU was 5 of 9, both of those 50%. CSU, the difference in the game right now comes from the free throw line. They're 8 of 9 from the stripe. Georgia, they didn't get there very often. The rebounds, there haven't been many rebounds to go around. It's 14-12 in favor of Georgia Southwestern. Turnovers, Georgia Southwestern did turn it over 10 times. That led to 13 CSU points, but that was an all-offense first half, and we'll see how the second plays out as we're on pace for nearly 100 points for both sides right now. Columbus State will have the basketball to start the second half. It's Ja'Cory Payne, Cam Baker, Brent Jackson, Darren Daniel, and Brentine Taylor in white for CSU's working left to right as you're looking at it now. Brent Jackson back on the floor after he had to sit the final 13 minutes because he picked up his second foul. They'll go right to him, and his first one bounces 3 times around and falls out. Jackson had a good first half. He had 8 points very early as Georgia Southwestern throws it away, but then he was forced to sit. Cam Baker is your game leader. He has 19. They did make a scoring correction at halftime. A tap in late in the first half that was originally credited to Yuri Gungina instead has been changed to Terrence Johnson. So Gungina has 13 now. And Adam Thosby, who goes right to the rack, is the Georgia Southwestern leader. He had 16 in the first half. Those two give him 18, and he'll have a chance for one more. The foul goes on Brentine Taylor. It's his second. And Thosby, who's played magnificently tonight, finishes off the three-point play. 19 for Thosby now matches Baker. And Thosby 4 away from his season high of 23. Daniel, long 2, rattles home. Darren Daniel with his second basket of the game. Give him 5. Seven of the 8 Cougars that played in the first half scored. Maddie Seeger-Darson, the only one that did not. Price, jump stop. The hesitation was enough. And Price a little bit gimpy as he comes back to the other end of the floor. Baker, the step back. Just silky smooth for Cam Baker. That's 21. Baker across the 20-point plateau. 6th time this season he's done so, and the 3rd consecutive. He had a career best 30 last Saturday at Francis Marion. That was the day he had 23 in the first half. Leonard on the 3 ball. It's good. Damian Leonard with the 3 gives him 8, and we're tied at 53. The teams didn't really cool off much over the 15-minute halftime break. Taylor working right at Towers, and Brentine Taylor, who had a quiet first half with just 3 points, goes off glass. 55-53. It looks like we're in it for the long haul tonight. Buckle up. Going to be a bumpy ride the rest of the way. 55-53, scoring in large quantities. Shot clock down to 10. Towers on the low post. Taylor defending. Wills with a left-handed hook and missed everything. Baker's going to get it, and then he tripped to the floor, somehow kept his dribble. How about that, Cam Baker? All the way to the rack, and he's fouled. I have no earthly idea how Cam kept his dribble in the midst of all of that. He tripped, kept it in play, dribbled while he was laying down, and then got up and was able to get to the rim, and they're going to say the foul, though, was on the floor. The foul goes on Towers. It's his second, and he comes to the bench. 17-13 to go, and Baker will trigger the inbound. CSU thought it was a shooting foul. Robert Moore not happy on the CSU sideline. Daniels going to dribble into a three. Halfway down, bounced out, and a foul coming up is going to go the other way. It looks like Brentine Taylor got tied up with Johnson and commits the foul, and for Brentine, that's his third. He was the one member of the post trio that did not have two fouls in the first half, and he gets two hit on him quick here in the first 3 minutes of the second half to give him three. They kick to the corner. Gungino wide open. Georgia Southwestern leads. Gungina now with 16. 56-55. Columbus State led by as much as 13 in the first half. Taylor sealing off the foul. Gungino is hoping for a push-off on Taylor. Instead, it's a foul on Gungina. It'll be his second, and Taylor's going to sit down now in favor of DeMarcus McVeigh. Price will sit for Georgia Southwestern, right back in. Cougars in another tight ball game. Played a tight one on Monday night at Armstrong. Now in a battle here as Darren Daniels sealed off his defender, and a great pass from Brent Jackson leads to two. Daniel, the senior from Phoenix City. Back in front by one of the Cougars. Thosby's three off the front iron. Johnson keeps it alive for the Hurricanes. To the corner, Wright for three. That one's pure. Karan Wright, his first long ball of the night. That is 10 threes tonight for Georgia Southwestern. Ja'Cory Payne, the answer is good. Teams continue to trade shots back and forth, and Ja'Cory Payne gives CSU the lead back with 15:49 to go. 60-59. CSU by a point. Don't go anywhere right here on Cougar Sports TV. Stephen Williams back here with you on Cougar Sports TV. Team shot 60 and 58% in the first half, and if you can believe it, they're shooting higher percentages in the second. Georgia Southwestern 5 of 7, 71% in the second half. CSU 5 of 8, 63%. 60-59, CSU in front by one. Shot clock to 12. This is Wright. Off for Leonard. Leonard a three. That one doesn't go. It's almost shocking now when either side misses a shot. Jackson comes to the corner. He goes over the top for McVeigh, who is absolutely clobbered on the help side defense. I believe that's right. It is. Hit with his second foul. Just came over to help out defensively on McVeigh and crushed him. And it'll take us to the media timeout. 15-14 to go. Cougars by a point here on Cougar Sports TV. It's a close one inside the Lumpkin Center right now, just a 1-point CSU lead. It's not close in Milledgeville for CSU's next opponent, as Georgia College, who will be in here on Saturday, is up 18 right now in the second half on Montevallo. Surprising result up there so far. Maybe not by who's winning, but by how much. Brent Jackson with the basket puts him in double figures with 10. As CSU has its lead to 3 now. No lead safe right now for either side, though, as these two teams trade buckets. Thosby with the turnover. CSU in transition. Good look. Payne to McVeigh for the lay-in. Robert Moore, a round of applause, and then yells at his guys to play D. CSU has been a pretty good defensive team this year. Tonight, though, Georgia Southwestern has hit just about everything. Opponents are shooting a tick under 40% for the season against CSU. Georgia Southwestern is 20% better than that tonight. Payne led it forward, but Georgia Southwestern back in transition decides better of it. Daniel, left elbow, fall away, doesn't go. Gungina grabs the rebound. You better go up strong for the rebound right now or you're not coming down with it. 6:15 gone by here in this second half. Stephen Williams courtside with you in Columbus, Georgia. 64-59, 18th ranked Cougars in front by 5. And it's a rip by Jackson, a runaway to the other side. Finger roll for Ja'Cory Payne. 17 now for Ja'Cory, who is 6 of 7 from the field. 7-point CSU lead. Cougars on a 9-0 run after Georgia Southwestern took a 59-57 lead. Thosby from the corner doesn't get the nice roll, and Ja'Cory saves it inbounds to Brent Jackson, and CSU has it back. CSU fell behind 1 in the first half, then went on a 14-0 run. They fall behind 2 here in this one, and now it's an 11-0 run as Cam Baker gets fancy with the spin move and lays it in. Baker with 23. It's an 11-0 CSU run and a 9-point lead. CSU up to 61% for the game. Thosby wide open. Count it. Thosby with his third from downtown. Stops an 11-0 run. It's a 6-point game. 22 for the Australian. Baker thought about it. Penetrates, dishes off. Jackson pump fakes as well. Darren Daniel the pump fake. And he goes to the rack and throws it down. Darren Daniel got a clean lane and finished it with one hand. That'll put them on their feet for a moment. 9 for Daniel. Explosive for the former Stanford Cardinal football player. 8-point game once again, and nearly a turnover as Daniel poked it away. Wright couldn't get the reverse layup, and CSU runs it the other way. Payne will go 1-on-3 and didn't get the shot to go. Probably not the best decision. Thosby right at McVeigh in the rim, and Thosby trying to single-handedly carry this team back. 24 now. Jackson in the left corner. His 3 goes. Brent Jackson with his second 3 of the night. 13 for the senior, and CSU back out 9. 73-64, and Georgia Southwestern wants a timeout. 11:11 to play here in Columbus, Georgia. It's tough to shoot 54% in a half and have the opponent outshoot you by 15%, but that's what's happening right now to Georgia Southwestern. They are 7 of 13 from the field in the second half. That's 54%. CSU, though, is 11 for 16, 69% from the field in this half, and the Cougars are 9 of 11 from inside the arc. CSU putting on an offensive clinic right now. If they can just get stops on the defensive end, this would not be close. Leonard, though, buries again, and Georgia Southwestern staying in this game from beyond the arc. Baker, quick answer, long two is good. Cam now with 25. Georgia Southwestern is 12 for 23 from the three-point line tonight. You're watching a pair of really talented offensive teams at the moment. Now we still have 10 minutes and 20 seconds of basketball to play. Leonard again. There's his fourth, and how about a 13th three in 30 minutes? 75-70. Baker, does he have the answer again? Stops, pops, basket, and one. Cam Baker with 27. Foul goes on Brandon Price. It's his second. 10:02 left on the clock. This is 77-70. The Cougars have eclipsed the 100-point mark 3 times this season. Their high is 110 against West Georgia. That was back November 21st. It was the Cougars' third game of the year. That was 110-106. We're headed for a similar score tonight. Baker's season high is 30. He is 3 away from that right now. Make it 2. Cam is 12 of 15 from the field, 1 of 2 from the three-point line, and 3 of 3 from the free throw line. 28 points on 15 shots. That is the definition of efficiency right there from your star player. Gungina, Leonard for a third straight. Why not? Damian Leonard, his fourth three of the second half. 17 for the senior from Greenville, South Carolina. Baker, does he have another one? He'll try his own three. That one doesn't go. And a foul on the floor going the other way against CSU's Arbin Kamaj. Foul on Kamaj is his third. If you're just joining in with us right now, welcome. This is quite the battle we've got going right now. 9:23 and counting, 78-73. Teams are shooting 62 and 61% from the field right now. The runner doesn't go that time for Price. McVeigh grabs the rebound. Baker will push. No numbers for CSU, and he turned it over. Other way, the shot doesn't go down for Johnson. He collected his own miss, though, and lays it back in. Johnson with 6. Baker the other way, wipe it off. Price stepped in, drew the charge. Cam forced it that time, and it's headed the other way with 8:52 to go. Crowd starting to ratchet up its energy a little bit. It's going to be a fun 9 minutes. Let's just put it that way. Fun run to the finish here in the Lumpkin Center on a Thursday night. Gungina for the tie. No. Rebound contested down into the hands of McVeigh. 14 made three-pointers tonight for Georgia Southwestern. Don't have those numbers in front of me, but that's got to be a season high. Let's see if we can figure that out. Underneath, Baker again. Give him 30. The stat sheet's going to run out of room here if he's not careful. Gungina rifles it underneath. Thosby wide open, lays it in. Thosby trying to match Baker. That's 26. $80-77 as we roll under the 8-minute mark. Foul underneath. It's going to go against Terrence Johnson. It's going to be his first, the team's fifth, and we have a timeout. Everybody exhale, catch your breath. 7:48 to go, 80-77, CSU by 3. $80-77. 157 combined points between these two, and there's still 7:48 to go. The 14 made threes is a season high for Georgia Southwestern, but only by one. They hit 13 in their season opener, an 89-85 victory over Fort Valley State. They also hit 12 in their loss right before Christmas against Lander. Baker doesn't go. Kamaj nearly got the tip. Rolled out. Georgia Southwestern had the basketball, but Cam Baker stripped him from behind. Daniel the other way, blocking foul, and Darren Daniel headed to the free throw line. The foul is on Brandon Price. It's his third. Georgia Southwestern's season high is 95 points. That's in jeopardy tonight. CSU's is 110, so they'd need to ratchet it up a little bit to get to that point, it looks like. Darren Daniel into double figures now as he hits his 10th point of the night. 3 Hurricanes in double figures, 4 Cougars to this point. 30 for Baker, 17 for Payne, 13 for Brent Jackson, and 10 for Darren Daniel. On the opposite side, it's 26 for Thosby, 17 for Leonard, and 16 for Gungina. Price with 12 on the shot clock, a rare late in the shot clock possession. Price, the kick out. To cut it to 1, it goes. Brandon Price with the 15th three of the night. 1 point game, 81-80, 6:54 to go. Jackson being guarded by Thosby. Off to Kamaj, much smaller Price guarding him. His shot didn't go. McVeigh off the glass with the tap. DeMarcus with 6. Gives him 10 rebounds as well. Still a 3-point game. Price for the tie. Why not? It is raining 3 balls right now. 16 for 28 from the 3-point line is Georgia Southwestern. And we're tied at 83. Kamaj, kick out, Baker all day, didn't get it. McVeigh the rebound, and he's fouled and will head to the line. There has not been a more open shot than the one Cam Baker just took, and go figure, that's the one that doesn't fall. The foul goes on Johnson, his second. What a ball game happening right now, and there's still 6:04 to play. 83-83. You thought the first half was high scoring at 49-45. It's 38-34 with 6 to go. DeMarcus McVeigh to the foul line. The junior out of West Memphis, Arkansas, averaging 10.2 points and 6 rebounds a game. That gives him 7. He already has double figures in rebounds. Gungina will get a rest. Devin Watson, the freshman out of Lawrenceville, will get a little second half run. CSU back in front. They led by as much as 13 in the first half, but hot shooting pulled Georgia Southwestern right back in it, and they have a chance to lead again now as we go under 6 minutes to go. CSU's lead is 1. Thosby, 12 on the shot clock, working on Kamaj. Drives right, shot doesn't go. Daniel the rebound. Big miss for Georgia Southwestern with a chance to take the lead. Baker from the free throw line. There's a new career high for the senior from right here in Columbus, 32. Three-point game again, and Arvin Kamaj has just been hit with his 4th foul. So 5:21 to go. Kamaj with 4. Robert Moore looks like he's going to get him out of there, but if he's going to do so, he's going to go smaller. Ja'Cory Payne, he's going to trade guard for forward. And he will go back to the starting lineup, save DeMarcus McVeigh for Brentine Taylor. Payne, Baker, Daniel, and Jackson as Johnson got wide open on the backdoor cut and got the easiest lay-in of the night. 8 for Johnson, 1-point game again, 86-85. 5:08 to go. And a foul underneath. It'll go on Devin Watson. That's his 3rd. Watson's only played about 5 minutes, but he's picked up 3 fouls in that time. And CSU is in the bonus. That was the 8th foul. And Brent Jackson's going to head to the line for the 1-and-1. Gungina back in as Johnson gets a rest. Brent Jackson, one of 4 Cougars in double figures. Free throw gave him 14. Rattled out, though. It's 2 in a row. CSU has left in the last 2 trips at the foul line. McVeigh missed 1. Jackson missed 1. CSU for the night is 75%. Price clobbered by Jackson. It was a good hesitation move. He stopped, and Jackson couldn't control his momentum and ran him over. Foul on Jackson is his 3rd. So Brandon Price, the 5'9" junior out of Radcliffe, Kentucky, former Western Kentucky Hilltopper, to the line for 2. These are just the 5th and 6th free throws of the game for Georgia Southwestern. Price averaging 9 points per game. Has crossed well past that tonight. Free throw gives him 14. His high is 19. That was in his Hurricane debut against Fort Valley State. 4:40 to go, 87-86. Just go ahead and settle in nicely. It's going to be a fun final 5. Daniel for 3 off the back rim. Ja'Cory Payne grabs the long rebound. CSU a fresh 30. Baker splits 2 defenders. The foul from behind will send him to the line. Cam's so creative and so heady with the basketball in his hands. He always seems to know where the defender is. That time, felt the defender on his back, held his ground, got knocked to the deck, and will earn 2 free throws where he's an excellent free throw shooter. The foul was on Damian Leonard. It's his 3rd. Baker with 32, make it 33 tonight. 81% from the free throw line is Cam. He's 4 for 4 from there tonight. Watson will sit as Johnson comes back. This is the 5 that really Mike Leader has tried to ride it out with for the latter portion of this second half. Baker 34 now. 89-86, one possession game still here at Herbert Green Court. 4:14 to go. Price had it knocked away by Payne, right to Johnson. Gungina passes up the 3, right to the rim. The reverse layup goes. Mike Leader wanting a foul, and it looked like he had a right. It looked like Gungina got hit on the top of the head on his way by. 18 now for Gungina, 1-point game again. CSU using a little clock. McVeigh sets the screen for Payne. Payne, short corner for Daniel. High pass controlled by McVeigh. Nice job to tap it to himself, and McVeigh has 9. Took advantage of the much smaller Price, who was giving up nearly an entire foot to McVeigh that ended up guarding him underneath. Price all the way to the rim and 1. Payne commits the foul. And Brandon Price headed to the line with a chance to tie this game at 91 all. 3:27 to go. We'll take our final media timeout. Good one brewing for the final 3:27. Cougars by 1. Stephen Williams back here with you inside the Lumpkin Center in Columbus, Georgia on Cougar Sports TV, your online home for everything Columbus Saint Athletics. Brandon Price to the free throw line to try to tie this game at 91 all with 3, and he will 20 seconds to play. Both teams still around the 60% mark from the field for the game. CSU looking to use a little more clock now than they did in the early portions. They've got McVeigh with a mismatch again underneath. They get it to him. They kick it around the perimeter. Payne to the rim. Basket doesn't go right before the shot clock was set to go off, but he is fouled, and Ja'Cory will head to the line. The foul is on Brandon Price. That is his 4th, so there is one worth watching. And Ja'Cory Payne to the line for 2. He's just 58% for the year. He doesn't get there often. He's 7 of 12. Ja'Cory good on the first, and that gives him 18 on the night. Brentine Taylor back in for CSU in place of Darren Daniel. Make it 19 now for Ja'Cory. 93-91, 2:50 to go. Georgia Southwestern has already hit 16 long balls tonight. Price drives in, backs out, needs somewhere to go with it. The hook pass up to Leonard. Leonard, Gungina in the corner, 2 players in the same spot. Shot clock to 7. Thosby, who's been quiet lately, gets the shot to roll around and in. Thosby now with 28, and we're tied at 93. 2:20 to go. 93 all. Where do the Cougars go? Ja'Cory Payne. They switch again and get McVeigh on a smaller player underneath. Brent Jackson open. Thought about it. Now he'll take it halfway down and bounces out. Georgia Southwestern a chance to lead. They won on this floor. a little under a year ago, January 31st of last year, 63-62. They won on this floor 2 years ago, 77-65. Can they make it 3 in a row? Leonard again! His 6th 3 of the night, and Georgia Southwestern by 3. This is their largest lead. Baker for the tie. It is good. Cam Baker ties it at 96-37 for the senior. Just his 2nd 3 of the night, and we're tied at 96. What a ball game we have had here inside the Lumpkin Center. 96 all, 90 seconds to play. Cam Baker, 15 of 21. 15 of 21 from the field. Two of 5 from the three-point line for Baker, who just picked a nice time to get his 2nd 3 of the night. 90 seconds left in regulation here in Columbus. 96 all. Columbus State trying to stay perfect in Peach Belt Conference play, going for a 5th consecutive victory. Georgia Southwestern trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Price cut off in the paint. Johnson over to Price, 15 on the shot clock. Screen by Thosby. Down to 10 now. Gungina sets a screen, he goes away from it, and Price knocks down the jumper. Price now with 19. 1 minute to go. It's a 2-point Georgia Southwestern lead. 98-96. Baker, he's had the hot hand all night. They go instead to Taylor inside. Payne from the free throw line, tied at 98. Ja'Cory Payne with 21. 48 seconds to go. CSU needs a stop. Taylor hedges high on the screen. Price in the lane, spins around Baker and one. Brandon Price taking it over on the Georgia Southwestern side. And Georgia Southwestern the first to 100 as Price now has 21. 34.5 seconds to go. Hurricanes with a 2-point lead, and Price has a chance to add one to it. The foul was on Baker, it's his 2nd. Price knocks the free throw down. What a night for Brandon Price, a new season high for him. Baker is going to go to the rim, and he is fouled before he got there. The foul goes on Terrence Johnson. It's his 3rd. It comes with 30 seconds exactly to go, and the shot clock is off. So Baker to the line. It's double bonus for CSU. He'll have 2 shots. And then CSU will have to get in the press, try to force a turnover, and if they don't get one, they'll have to quickly foul. Cam Baker, a career night for him, 38 points. But right now, his team is down 2. Darren Daniel back in. CSU will go into its press if Baker can make this free throw. Baker's 2nd one is perfect, and Robert Moore is going to take a timeout. Georgia Southwestern with the basketball. 30 seconds to go. CSU trailing 101-100. It'll be a full court press from CSU looking for a turnover. If you don't have it by midcourt, CSU will likely go quickly to the foul. It's still one more 1-and-1 foul for Georgia Southwestern. That could be large. Gungina gets it into Thosby. He's trapped on the CSU bench, and a foul coming up as Thosby lost control of it. And they will walk to the other end, and Adam Thosby will head to the free throw line. He's a 76% shooter for the season, and tonight he is 3 of 4. This was the 9th foul, so with 27.3 seconds to go, 1-and-1 for Adam Thosby, who has 28 points. First one goes through. 29 now. Either way, it's going to be a one-possession game, make or miss here with 27 seconds. Second one, good as well. CSU basketball, 27 seconds to go, down 3. Baker lets it roll to midcourt. He's going to go right to the rim. The layup goes down, 22 seconds to go. And CSU takes what I believe is its final timeout. 22.2 seconds. .2, and the game plan doesn't change now for CSU. Again, it's full court press, trap in the backcourt, try to force the turnover. If you don't get it, you got to quickly foul. And now, from here on out, every foul is 2 shots. 103-102, Gungina again on the inbounds. Thosby again gets it, and DeMarcus McVeigh commits the foul. It's his 3rd. CSU can play this out for a while like this if they continue to get quick baskets. Thosby to the line. This time he has 2. Again, perfect. 6 of 7 now is Thosby with 31 points. Make it 32. They get it quickly across midcourt to Ja'Cory Payne. Payne goes to the rim. The scoop up and good with 15. CSU again into the press, will trap and then foul. Leonard tosses it back. Gungina fouled with 12.6. Gungina going to the line. He is just a 68% free throw shooter, and he has not been there tonight, so they finally get it out of Thosby's hands. 105-104. Ja'Cory Payne now with 23. Cam Baker with 41. Gungina to the line for 2. Good. Gungina with 19. 106-104. 12.6 to go. It might be time. If he makes this, CSU will have to take the 3 for the tie. Gungina hits them both. Clutch free throw shooting down the stretch. 12 seconds. Baker with the basketball in his hands. He'll take the 3 for the tie. It doesn't go. It's tipped out, and the foul is going to go against Brandon Price of Georgia Southwestern, and that is his 5th, and he is done. So it's with 5.5 seconds. It's going to be DeMarcus McVeigh to the free throw line for 2. McVeigh is just a 63% shooter. He is 1 for 2 tonight. 5.5 to go. And McVeigh's first one falls off. Now you're going to have to likely miss on purpose. Not enough time to try to make this one and foul. Georgia Southwestern 5 seconds away from a third consecutive victory in Columbus. McVeigh, the second one, bounces around and off. Possession belongs to Georgia Southwestern, and CSU is in disbelief. 4.3 seconds to go. CSU needs a turnover, or this one is all but over. CSU in the press. They get it again to Thosby, and he's fouled with 3.6. Adam Thosby is going to need just one free throw here, and this one is likely on ice. Clutch free throw shooting down the stretch. Georgia Southwestern has been perfect in that department. 107-104, 3 seconds to go. CSU needs Thosby to miss a pair. He is 7 of 8 tonight. And that one should do it. What a night for Adam Thosby. That's 33. Give him 34. Brent Jackson's going to take it and get a heave up at the horn. It won't go. And Georgia Southwestern has snapped a 3-game losing streak and has won for the third consecutive time inside the Lumpkin Center. 109-104, your final tonight here in Columbus, Georgia. Cam Baker goes for 41 points for CSU, but it's not enough. 4 players score 20 for Georgia Southwestern, including 34 for Adam Thosby. And the Hurricanes are going to walk out of here a happy bunch. 109-104. Georgia Southwestern, with the victory, gets to 500, 6-6 on the season, and they are 2-3 in Peach Belt Conference play now. For CSU, the loss will snap a 4-game winning streak, and they will fall to 10-2 on the season, and will take their first Peach Belt Conference loss. That makes them 4-1 on the season. CSU shoots 59% from the field, 38% from 3, 75 from the free throw line. 104 points, not enough. There's not very often you're going to hear that said, but 104 not enough tonight, because Georgia Southwestern shot 68% in the second half, 64% from the game, hit 17 three-point shots, and went 14 of 16 from the foul line. 109-104, CSU falls. They will move to 10-2 on the season. Georgia Southwestern is now 6-6 on the year with the 109-104 victory. We're back on the air on Cougar Sports TV on Saturday. Georgia College comes calling, and it is a big-time doubleheader when they come to town here for the Peach Belt Conference rivalry between the two schools. Georgia College's men coming in here, coming off what looks to be a victory for them tonight. They're up 13 with 3 minutes to play. That would get them to 11-3 on the season. And then the Georgia College women are 12-1, so it'll be a big-time showdown, or rather 13-1. Big-time showdown coming up shortly. 109-104, the victory. CSU falls to Georgia Southwestern as the Hurricanes pick up the victory here tonight in Columbus. We want to say thanks to everyone that helped make this possible. Will DeBoer, Richie Navratil, running the controls up across the way on the second level, bringing you all the sights and sounds and the action. For everybody here at Columbus State University Cougar Sports TV, this is Stephen Williams saying so long from Columbus, Georgia.